Welcome back. Singapore has been ranked as the most attractive place to develop, attract and retain talent. This year's Global Talent Competitiveness Index covers 135 countries across all income groups. Published by Business School INSEAD, this year's report notes Singapore's readiness in the age of AI. Beatrice Yap with more.
This is the first time Singapore has topped the annual ranking, which was launched in 2013. The index sets a benchmark for policy thinking on labour markets, work organisation and talent flows. Singapore moves up a notch from second place since the last index, overtaking Switzerland. The report says that's because the Southeast Asian nation is adaptable, digitally fluent and innovative. Denmark is third and the next highest ranked Asian country is Japan at 28th. The strongest showings of Singapore are in areas of regulatory landscape, formal education and high-level skills such as in research and digital fields.
There'll be more business and growth coming in. Singapore is famous for being a launch pad, both for regional and global expansion. And now with this index and this award that it's won, I think you're going to continue to see more and more businesses putting headquarters here, putting launch teams here, and growing and bringing higher value positions to Singapore market.
Indicators of the ranking include soft skills and concentration of AI talent. These are two important aspects Singapore is looking into as well.
We're reimagining what it means to develop talent in the age of AI and automation. At the same time, we must not overlook the soft skills that are AI resilient, such as creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, leadership, which will become more valuable as AI increasingly handles the routine tasks.
The Manpower Ministry says policies and strategies must also be adaptable in a world of heightened disruption.
And for more, Paul Evans, who is co-founder of the Global Talent Competitiveness Index, joins us now in studio. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, this is the first time that Singapore has actually topped the rankings. Switzerland has been on top since the beginning of this index. Can you tell us why that is? How did Singapore flip it?
Well, Angela, first thing to say is that Singapore has always been number 2 since we started the index 11 years ago. And I think if people were to ask me why it's always been in a top position, it's something about all of the top countries. And that is, not only are they able to attract talent and keep talent and develop talent and so forth, and the right sort of talent with constantly changing economies, but what lies behind that is ecosystems. It's collaboration and cooperation, which is exemplary here in Singapore, between the government on the one hand, educational institutions, which play an important role, labour unions and business, the business community, which can express the needs and quickly convert them into relevant talent skills. Now, why is it now number 1 rather than number 2 as it's been? And the answer is simple. The lowest, weakest pillar for Singapore has always been retaining talent. The law of talent is the better you are, the more you have opportunities elsewhere, whether you're Singaporean or whether you're another nationality. And what's happened is that Singapore jumped from the 38th place on retaining people to the 31st place. And that, paradoxically, is strengthening one of the biggest weaknesses. It's what's put it in the top slot.
Yeah, so retainment is where we've improved a lot.
Absolutely.
Now, Singapore also ranked first for generalist adaptive skills. What exactly does that mean? Can you break that down for us? And how do they actually help Singapore stay competitive?
Well, if you look at how we can think about it and how we measure it, it's really 2 things. It's one, the skills that you have, as people were mentioning, the digital skills, the problem-solving skills and so forth there. But it's also, you can have skills, but they don't add value. Those skills have got to be relevant. So the other thing that we measure as part of, high-end talent development is business creation, is number of scientific papers, is high-value exports. And the combination of those relevant talents, relevant skills with which really fit the needs of today. And today it's changing quite fast, as we all know.
Now, how does all of this then affect the average Singaporean worker? What is the significance of the findings this time?
Well, I think it's pride There isn't any kind of takeaway. I think one of the things which is important for the Singaporean worker in a time of disruption, a lot of change, AI starting to affect jobs, which is something that worries everybody, is behind this is what you need is some sort of mechanisms to develop new relevant skills in a changing world. And if you look at the top countries, for example, the Nordic countries, they have Denmark, number 2 on the index, has a system which is a model in Europe, which is called flexicurity. And it goes back to the 1970s. That is, if you have to change job, not just job, but career, moving into a different career, the state will help you out. You've got certain obligations, and that's been in place for the long time. You take Singapore, you've got Skills Future, which has existed for a long time. You've got Workforce Singapore. Those types of mechanisms in this age of disruption with AI starting to affect more and more, I think that's what one can feel proud of being in Singapore.
Yeah, and speaking of being proud of things, Singapore's talent retention, as you mentioned earlier, has improved drastically from the last index. What changed, you think, and how significant is this in helping Singapore combat the brain drain?
Well, at our panel session, the launch at INSEAD a short time ago, we had Jacqueline Poh, who used to head up EDB and was now heading up JTC. And I thought she captured it very well. She said there's 2 things that people look for. One is employability. I mean, the income for your family and so forth, an interesting job there. And again, that's something that people tell me. Whatever their cultural background, wherever they've come from, Singapore is a country where good people with relevant skills feel that they have a future there. Now, the second thing is livability, as Jacqueline Poh was talking about it. And it's clear that Singapore has paid a lot of attention. It's always been the safest country in the world. They're number 1 on the list. Yeah. And this is important to people. You can let your children loose in the local community, and you don't have to feel worried about that. That's not true in all other places around the world. And there's a great deal of attention to making this place more fun with big sports events and so forth. That has to continue because, as I said beforehand, there's been a big increase in Singapore's ability to retain people, but it's far from perfect.
Well, thank you so much, Paul, for breaking all of that down for us. I've been speaking with Paul Evans, who is Emeritus Professor of Organizational Behavior at INSEAD and also co-founder of the Global Talent Competitiveness Index.